Here's the entrepreneurial truth. And this needs to be said all the time. Those of you building teams, you need to remind your team of this all the time. The people you're working with, constantly remind them of this truth, this reality, because for a long time, you will be vastly underpaid. I said it. You will be underpaid for a vastly long time. For the rest of time, you will be vastly overpaid. I used to have this joke in front of the room. I would say, I would do whatever it takes to become a millionaire. I would do whatever it takes. I would do whatever it takes to become a multimillionaire. As long as it's, legal, moral, and ethical, or 2 out of 3. I used to always have that joke and people would laugh because, it's funny and it's true, but it's really not true, right? We want to do things that are obviously legal. We want to do things within our ethics and morality, but it's just so important to have that WIT mentality. I was just listening to Eric Worre talk about, you got to be obsessed or be average, right? The Grant Cardone book, which I would highly recommend, by the way, if you haven't read Grant's Be Obsessed or Be Average book, it's phenomenal. But being a psycho, right? Being obsessed. And some might say, well, I'm not obsessed, I'm passionate. Same difference as far as I'm concerned. Like if you're trying to get healthy, you have to be obsessed, right? You want to be a good parent, you got to be obsessed. You want to be, a great husband or wife, like you have to have some passion for it. You have to have a desire to get better. You have to have a desire to work on the relationship. Same thing in network marketing. You have to have a strong desire. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. But you have to do things that are moral, ethical, and legal. Ha ha ha, 2 out of 3. It was always my joke. People would laugh. But I need you to understand. I need you to understand that the thing you want to protect, the thing that's so important is your integrity, is your reputation. And I'll give you an example. I was tempted in the early days because as Nadya and I started to rise through the ranks, there were a lot of teams in Maryland that didn't have the local upline support, or they really wanted to be a part of the team we were on because we were on this team called the Rockstar team, the number one team in the company. And, our upline was really number one. And there was just so many people that saw our success and the support and the systems. They wanted to be on our team. So people would come to our events from other teams and they would want to switch to our team. They'd be like, oh, let me sign up under a spouse, or let me sign up under, a family member. Or let me put it in an LLC. And still today we get this. We get people from other teams within our network marketing company. We've got the number one team in our company. We're in the top 2 or 3 income earners in the world with our company. So of course we get people asking if they can work with us, if they can join our team. And they're like, hey, just yesterday I had 2 messages from different leaders saying, hey, I've got this person. They want to be on our team. Like, what do we got to do? Should we put in their spouse's name? And I'm like, no. Because number 1, it's against the company policy. So you're literally violating the rule. Number 2, imagine if anyone could just switch teams. Imagine if anyone could just say, my upline's annoying me, or my upline's not very supportive, or I don't align with my upline. My upline, I don't really agree with their personality or their style, or, you just come up with a random complaint because you see the opportunity to work with this different top leader, this top dog, and you could just in a sneaky way switch teams. Now, there is a right way to do it. You sit out 6 months, inactive for 6 months, and you come back. If somebody really, really wants to do it, they can. But never encourage that. Never recommend that. And again, here's the problem. If they do it, they're literally violating the policy. So what the company will do, and this is what most companies will do, they'll take that organization and place it back. Because you did that unethical thing, now you're going to pay the price. #karma. The truth is, even if you got away with it, are you really going to feel good about it? Are you going to feel good stealing someone else's prospect, stealing someone else's, downline? And listen, I know we could also talk about cross recruiting or poaching from other companies. Listen, you can't poach people. They're not eggs. At the end of the day, if somebody chooses to leave their company because they think the grass is greener somewhere else, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But that's a different conversation. But within your company, if you're not protecting your integrity, your reputation, and you don't think it's a big deal, believe me when I tell you, it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you, and you have to protect this. Now, again, if you're serious about building an empire and you want to create a 6 or 7 figure income, you're going to have to go all in. You're going to have to be crazy obsessed, crazy passionate. You can't pace yourself. You can't pace yourself. You're never going to build the business of your dreams, build that dream team, become a top earner, a top producer, tiptoeing your way towards the top. Does that make some sense? I just want to speak some truth into you today because there's too many people out there that are pacing themselves. And listen, I know some of you got full-time jobs and you got kids and you got things. That's fine. But at some point, you're going to have to go all in. At some point, you're going to have to get really serious. And that doesn't mean you go full-time and you quit your job prematurely. No, no, no. That would be the worst decision. In fact, if you can't build it part-time, you have no business building it full-time. But with that being said, how hard are you really working? Have you contacted everyone on your chicken list? Have you really shown up in the way that you need to show up? I mean, would we all agree there's another level? There's another level of commitment. There's another level of sacrifice. And listen, I'm not a big fan of this anti-hustle culture. I actually posted about this in my stories the other day, how Mr. Wonderful posted about your mom might hate you. You might lose your wife and your dog and, lose a lot of friends. But when you become successful, it'll all be worth it. And I responded to his tweet because I thought that was horrible for him to share. I don't agree with your mom is going to hate you and you're going to lose your wife and family and dog. But I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar business online from my phone using systems and tools and learning how to outsource all the things we talked about on Money Monday this past week. I've been able to do all that, build this multi-million-dollar business, but also have the freedom to take a whole day off on a Tuesday and go spoil my wife and go to all my son's travel baseball games the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? And spend time with my daughter and pick her up from school today and, take her shopping and, go see Ant-Man tomorrow night. But here's the thing. I've paid the price. I got on the other side of Success Mountain. Now we're on the downward slope. Not our business isn't going downward, but this is the fun part. This is the easy part because we climbed Success Mountain and paid that price and worked our faces off. We did the deal for years and years and years and years. There were years of sacrifice, grinding. Now we've figured out how to work smarter and create true leverage and build up the duplication and create independence on our team. We have some of the most ridiculously amazing, talented leaders on our team. They run their own business. If I don't show up for a day, for a week, for a month, they still do their thing. They're still more than capable. But I've been able to create boundaries and create a schedule that works for me so that I still work my face off. I still show up. But when I want to put my phone down and be present with my family or travel or do the things that I've always wanted to do, I can do those things now. Some of you are rewarding yourself prematurely. You're already trying to enjoy the freedom of being an entrepreneur, but your bank account is teeny tiny. Right? You haven't built up the MBA, the massive bank account. You haven't built up the momentum, the duplication. You haven't built up that level of success where you can take a step back and still cash a fat check, where you can, travel the world and wake up when you're done sleeping. And look, maybe it's not network marketing. Maybe you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you're meant to be an employee. By the way, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. I was an employee for a period of time while I was building my network marketing business. I was working full-time on my job, part-time on my fortune, as Jim Rohn says. But eventually it was costing me money to go to work every day. Eventually I got to the point where I didn't really hate my job, but I hated the fact that there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I was a mortgage banker. And if I didn't close a loan, I didn't get paid. And I wanted to get out of that rat race of having to always look for the next deal and having to always find people to refinance or do purchases, all the things. Now, that's just me. I know some people that have done very, very well for themselves in real estate. They're very successful in mortgages and they use the money or in a job and they use the money they were making because they lived off less and they weren't trying to spend every dollar they make to keep up with the Joneses, right? It's some people are just they have such a bad relationship with money and they're so addicted to spending money that as they make more, they spend just as much. So you could still get wealthy with a job if you become a great disciplined investor. But I would rather build a business on the side that can give me my time back, that can give me the residual income, but you're going to have that whatever it takes mentality. WIT, baby, whatever it takes. But again, as long as it's within your moral code, you're going to maintain your integrity, right? It's got to be moral, legal, and ethical, or 2 out of 3. That was my joke. But does that make some sense? I think so many people get involved in this entrepreneurial ride and they have the microwave society mentality. They don't understand that you're on a freaking rocket ship, but it takes 80% of the fuel to take off. you're going to be building up that momentum, building up the skills, building up the confidence over a sustained period of time, putting in that sweat equity for years and years. It took me 7 years to crack a full-time income, 16 years to become a millionaire. Was it worth it? Abso-freaking-lutely. I don't think you want it as bad as you say you do. Like, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to live the dream, buy their dream home, be debt-free, wake up when they're done sleeping, travel the world, spend time with loved ones, help out a loved one if they end up in a financial bind, that you don't work for a company that freaking owns you. And I'm not talking about network marketing. I'm actually talking about, for a lot of people, they own a business that owns them. They're self-employed. Or it's like, they're a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist. If they don't work, they don't get paid. In network marketing, it's like some of us, we don't realize that we're literally building a business that could pay us over a sustained period of time. God forbid if something happens. If something happens to you, your network marketing business will continue to compensate your family. Like, how incredible is that? It's a willable, sellable asset. It's worth putting in the sweat equity. It's worth doing live videos or doing things that make you uncomfortable. It's worth reading those books, investing in the courses. It's worth it. You're freaking worth it. What are you waiting for?